Hey everyone, finished watching the next VR Troopers episode, Grimlord's Dark Secret Part 1. The troopers are going to help out a guy, Nebraska Smith, who's excavating an Egyptian relic in California. He opens an ancient box, it causes a doorway to materialize. He goes through and disappears. Ryan follows him. Grimlord detects that the Isis dimension was breached, and he's worried it will somehow expose his human identity. JB and Caitlin take the Egyptian box to Tau. They hope he'll know something about it. He arranges tiles on the lid to open a different doorway. Caitlin goes through and she finds herself on Grimlord's ship. She overhears Grimlord and Doommaster talk about Ryan. Oraclon alerts Doommaster to Caitlin's presence. After a short scuffle, she escapes back through the doorway. Ryan finds Nebraska Smith in the Isis dimension just as Doommaster sneaks up on them and uses magic stones to turn Nebraska into a statue. Alright then. Ryan transforms and reflects a blast back at Doommaster and he retreats. JB and Caitlin are told by Hart that he and Tyler Steele had found the box in the past and it was stolen by Grimlord. This was also the event where Grimlord killed Hart, but Tyler was able to save him by linking his mind to virtual reality. Ryan makes his way to an underground pyramid. Inside are Grimlord's secrets, including his human identity. Doommaster defends the pyramid from Ryan. JB and Caitlin try to summon the doorway to the Isis dimension to help Ryan. Doommaster leaves to find JB and Caitlin after they finally open the doorway. Ryan tries to help them, but he's too late and Doommaster turns them to stone. A lot happens in this one. The crew of this apparently had just watched Indiana Jones, as there's a lot of imagery from those movies, as well as Nebraska Smith, the poor man's version of the titular Indiana Jones hero. There's a tense tone throughout this episode, and the music is uniquely suited for this one. One thing I'm not a big fan of at this point in VR Troopers is Tau. Tau seems to have become a stereotypical old wise man. It's not a necessarily bad trait, but it makes him feel less like a real person and more like a character. A character I appreciate far more to learn about is Hart. It's rare to see peeks into his past. Tyler Steele isn't at his best acting-wise. I'm surprised how relatively graphic Hart's death is. Human characters dying are usually a big no-no in American kids media, and Saban definitely tried their best to shy away from it when they could. There's no blood, but Hart's line after this event happens confirms his body at least was dead. Doommaster gets a lot of cool moments. He's got so many weird, bizarre abilities and weapons here, and I wonder why we're only just seeing them now. Overall, this was a really strong outing for the Troopers. Brilliant first part of a two-parter, high stakes and a cliffhanger with the Troopers in real danger. So, I really like this one. This one was really good. Hopefully the second part keeps that quality. Occasionally, when we have multi-parters, we'll get like a good part and then a pretty lame part, so cautiously optimistic about this one, so that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya. Hey everyone, finished watching the next VR Troopers episode, Grimlord's Dark Secret. Ryan finds Jeb, and Jeb fills him in on what JB and Caitlin were going to tell him before they got frozen. He then goes back through the doorway to Hart's lab. Ryan goes back to the cave to look for clues about Grimlord. Grimlord sends Despara out to stop Ryan. Ryan transforms and fights her off. She leaves behind the stones that Doommaster used to freeze the others. Ryan takes them to see if he can reverse the spell. It works. Ryan gives JB and Caitlin the stones so they can go and help Nebraska. Ryan returns to the cave to find out about Grimlord's identity. He's stopped by a new monster, Hydrabot. He defeats it while JB and Caitlin take on the Air Forces. When he tries to look into Grimlord's secret, suddenly everything disappears. Oraclon somehow wished it all away. Jeb comes to warn the troopers that Oraclon is going to close off the dimension. Ryan remembers Nebraska and unfreezes him. The doorway is about to close, but everyone makes it through in time. The box that opened the doorway in the first place disintegrates. This is a pretty good conclusion to the two-parter. Nothing's really changed. I thought since this was a big multi-part episode, there'd be some big shake-up, but everything is status quo by the end. The Scheider footage is all cool, but JB and Caitlin are unfortunately just stuck with the Air Forces again. It's getting kinda repetitive at this point. When Ryan is almost trapped in the Isis dimension, I thought Nebraska was going to throw a rope in to pull Ryan out, but he just walks in, helps him up, and they leave. I don't really know what the Indiana Jones aspect here was for. I guess the writers or whoever had just watched Indiana Jones and they were like on a kick or something, and they were like, hey, Indiana Jones stuff, let's put that in the show. Speaking of which, the Indiana Jones aspect of this is almost gone now. Nebraska's the only thing that has any kind of Indiana Jones feel to it. Everything else was just imagery in the first episode. The second episode is pretty much just a standard VR Troopers episode. Hydrabot is pretty weird looking. When I was watching this episode and the bad guys keep referring to Hydrabot, it sounds like they say Hydrobot. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be a water monster, right? No, it's a Hydra, like a Greek Hydra, with its main head apparently cut off. So now I'm really curious, in Shider, did the Hydrabot originally have, like, a main head? Because in the show, it looks like it's already been cut off. I'm assuming maybe it was, like, in Shider, the monster had a main head that got cut off, but it was considered too violent to show that over here. So they just cut that scene, but still kept the monster for the rest of it? I don't know, I'll have to go back and watch that Shider episode to see if that is indeed what they did. Okay, I just watched the Shider episode, and it turns out the Hydrabot, it did have its head cut off, but it wasn't cut out over here due to it being too violent. It was because it was actually the body of the Shider counterpart of Oriclon. Also, I figured out where the Indiana Jones thing came from. In Shider, Shider opens up the magic door in the pyramid in the cave, and this dart shoots out, and the dart is in VR Troopers, although it's a little bit different, I think. And anyway, it reveals this like mirror on this cave wall, and this light shoots out, hits that, bounces off a thing, and opens up the doorway to the whatever. So yeah, that's kind of an Indiana Jones-esque thing. I don't know if it was specifically based on that in Shider, but yeah, I guess someone saw that and was like, hey, that reminds me of Indiana Jones. Let's go watch Indiana Jones. And then they watched Indiana Jones and decided, let's put a bunch of imagery from this into VR Troopers for no reason. It was a pretty fun two-parter, but overall, it's not far off from the expected standard. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.